Hey, Mahal everyone, welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I'm 40, your host, and we are back with another video for King's Knight, Wrath of the Dark Dragon. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about something really cool that was announced this morning when we all logged into our games, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so what could it be that I want to talk to you guys about? Notices. As you can see right there, event, new character trial quest, battle frenzy, new character trial quest. Let's go ahead and click on that. Event period from 7 a.m. September 17th, 2017 to 6:59 a.m. October 3rd, 2017. Try out soon-to-be-released characters in the upcoming new character trial quest. To take on the quest, go to the events page. And here we have the available characters, who is the unstoppable Bakshin, who is a warrior, and the Jafar, who is the thief. So what this game does is they have these event trial quests for upcoming characters that are going to be coming out, you know, in the next gacha. This is something really cool and something of a first that I have seen a mobile game do, where they give you a chance to kind of test out these characters and see what they're all about. And what that does for the player community is it kind of gives us, time to think, should we be pulling on the upcoming gacha? Should we be saving, our Regalite? Things like that. I think it's really cool that this game does that. And, it gives us a little bit of a treat to see how these characters play. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and play through these character trial events. And then afterwards, I'm going to compare them to the current top ranking classes of their specific class. So for example, I'm going to compare Bakshin to Jack, since Jack is the current best warrior right now that you can roll for. And then I'm going to compare Jafar to Toby. It's arguable whether it's Momo or Toby that's the best thief in the game. But because Toby is the most similar to Jafar, I'm going to go ahead and compare Jafar to Toby. So let's go ahead and get right into the character trial quests. There they are. I did do them this morning, but I don't mind doing them again for you guys. So Bakshin, so he is the fixed unit for this stage. All right, so let's go ahead and go through the stages. Check out his KM1. Very cool, very flashy. His KM2. Okay, that seems to hit in a straight line. Okay, so straight line in front of him and behind him. And then let's check out his KM3, which is part of his weapon. Let me just go ahead and build up my MP here a little bit. Okay, so it hits in an X. Very interesting. Interesting. I definitely like how Bakshin looks like. He looks really, really cool. Definitely reminiscent of a samurai, which I think that's what he is. He's a samurai, but within the warrior class. Let's go ahead and jump over those pits. Those pits are actually my least favorite hazardous terrain to go through. They're really, really annoying. All right, let's see who we fight. Okay, we fight the werewolf. Nice, I'm already breaking his claw. Very cool. So, as a character, as cosmetics and everything like that, his animations, I think it looks really, really cool. Definitely, very samurai-ish, all of his King's Mights that he uses. And now let's go ahead and check out Jafar. Then we're going to compare them right afterwards to their count. Okay, so Jafar is the fixed character for this event. Let's go ahead and check out his KM1. Wind Strike. Oh, whoa, that hits like everywhere. Okay, I kind of wish there were enemies, but it's cool. Very cool. And it looks like, oh, it looks like that gave a defense buff. So kind of just like Toby's KM2 and also Karen's KM2 gives a defense buff. And then his KM3 from his weapon, very cool. It does like this this cyclone that encircles the space that you use it on, and then it traps whoever is in there and deals the massive damage. All right, let's go ahead and finish the stage with Jafar. Raging Gale. Boom. Nice. So this character seems very his KMs are all very like AoE heavy. Especially that one, although the damage is not as consistent because it hits in different spots on the map. No, I died! Oh, that was my bad. All good. Sure, let's continue. Wow, that was my bad. Can't believe I fell off of there. Don't do what I did. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. Good thing that these character trial events don't charge me Regalite when I die. Okay. So we're probably gonna fight Mr. Werewolf himself. There we go. Okay. Raging Gale. Boom. Ah. Sorry. This is one thing why I don't like having the touch controls the way they are is what you just saw me do there where I accidentally closed out of the game and then had to go right back into it. That tends to happen. Hopefully they develop some sort of controller support for this game. It'd be great, especially for the way it plays, because it is a scrolling shooter arcade style of a game. Okay. So very cool. So I definitely do like their animations. I like the way they look. Jafar, I wonder if Jafar is related to, what's his name? Shapur, who is the Earth Warrior, the Earth 4-star warrior that you can get. All right, so let's go ahead and compare these guys to the top ranking classes that are respective to them. So let's take a look at Bakshin. Okay, so his skills, his leader skills is increase King's Might damage of Earth aspected allies. Pretty cool. So if you have a team of Earth aspected allies, all of their King's Might damage is increased. And let's take a look at his King's Might. So his first one is a 6-hit, 180% power proximity attack. Increase defense of single ally by 50% for 20 seconds. I'm going to assume that this is when it's fully upgraded. Not bad. I do like that it hits in a big square around him. So that's pretty cool. And then his his KM2 is a 3-hit, 480% piercing attack. Okay, and you receive damage of a single ally equal to 3% of max HP. So it looks like you take a little bit of a damage, but he does 480% is quite a big damage modifier, and it's 3 hits. My only issue with it is that it hits in a straight line, so the area coverage is not so great. I would say maybe this skill is definitely good against bosses because of the area that it covers. Not so good when clearing trash mobs, but definitely good for dealing a huge amount of damage to bosses. And let's go ahead and check out his auto skills. So his first one is 100% additional earth damage when HP is 80% or higher. Okay, that's really cool. So that's a massive boost to his earth damage as long as his HP is 80% or higher. So if you pair him with, like, let's say a Gigant using their shield or a wizard healing, then he's pretty much free to have that 100% additional earth damage. His second skill is attack increased by 15%. Very cool. And then his last one is 50% additional earth damage. Wow. Okay, so he gets a 150% additional earth damage boost. That's huge. So his weapon is Chirigiri Rodden. Okay, so he's kind of a burst damage, kind of a dealing type of a character. I would say this guy is definitely useful for taking out bosses. He seems to be more of a boss killer rather than clearing out trash mobs. I definitely think that Ray Jack, just by knowing that Ray Jack has that ability where he can shoot 2-shot attacks instead of a single one at a time, that he's definitely better for clearing mobs. And let's go ahead and check out his profile. So he's a human, a samurai traveling the realm on a training voyage. In order to master the way of the sword, Bakshin left his home in the land of Wa in search of worthy opponents to challenge. He is of high moral character and treats all that he meets with compassion, unlike a certain someone he resembles. Uh-oh, who does he resemble? He is often mistaken for Box. You know what? He actually does look like him, whose resemblance to him is remarkable despite being of no relation. Unfortunately for Bakshin, this coincidental resemblance causes him to encounter a fair amount of trouble. That's pretty funny. That's some nice flavor they add into there. Okay, so now that we know what he does, let's go take a look at Ray Jack and see how he compares. So let's go, easiest way to check that, we're just gonna go into the gacha. Okay. So Ray Jack, he increases the shot damage of light aspected allies. So compared to Bakshin, who increases the damage of King's Might, I'm actually going to say that this is more useful because most of the time you're going to be using your shot attack more with your character. So if you have a team of light aspected allies, this is a whole lot better because it's more consistent damage wise, because you won't always have your King's Might available unless you're keeping your MP bar full. And the only way to really do that is, aside from collecting those little circle pronged items that you find in the stage, you have to consistently deal damage to the enemy. So this is more consistent, so I think his leader skill is already better. Let's go ahead and check out his King's Might, comparing him. Okay, so it's a 6-hit 150% power proximity attack. So it's the range that it covers is exactly the same as Bakshin's, and this one increases the luck of a single ally by 50% for 20 seconds. I'm actually going to say that Bakshin's King's Might is better because it increases defense, where this one only increases luck. I'm not entirely sure what luck does in this game. If you guys happen to know what it does, please put in the comment section below what that stat actually does, because I'm not entirely sure what that's used for. But I'm going to say that Bakshin takes the King's Might 1 over Ray Jack. I think his is better. And then Sacred Strike. Okay, so this one hits in front of Ray Jack rather than hitting a straight line front and back. But when it hits in front, it covers 3 panels all in front of him within, let's see, 1, 2. So it's a 3 by 5. So it's a 3-hit 200% power piercing attack. And the normal shot of a single ally changed from multi-shot for 10 seconds. So while the other one is more of a burst damage and definitely does more damage, because of the way that it covers only a straight line front and back, I'm gonna say that this one is a whole lot more useful. Especially this one also only costs 48 MP. The other one costs 51, which is a little bit more, but this one also benefits another ally. It changes their attack to a multi-shot, which is, instead of shooting 1 shot, they shoot 2, just like how Ray Jack does. So definitely Ray Jack is better as far as his KM 2. Now let's check out his auto skills. Attack increased by 20% when HP is 80% or higher. Okay, so unlike Bakshin, who his first auto skill gives him 100% Earth boost if his HP is 80% or higher, Ray Jack's gives him just a straight up 20% attack buff. I'm actually going to say this one is better because this one just does it for its overall damage, while the other one does it for a specific element. And the problem with specific elements is that if you're fighting enemies that resist it, I mean, it's useful, but it's not as useful as a more consistent, damage buff. The other one is HP increased by 15%. And then his last one is 50% additional light damage. So he has more survivability compared to Bakshin. And then his most players that I see use him with the Lightbringer, which is very useful because that 4-star base weapon is of a light element, which definitely benefits Ray Jack. So overall, what do I think of Bakshin in comparison to Ray Jack? I think Bakshin is great in dealing with bosses. Especially a boss that is weak to the earth element. If you have him and he has both of those earth damage buffs on him, he's gonna like take that boss down in no time. Just be sure to keep him alive and keep his HP high. That way you're benefiting from that earth buff. But overall, as a character and usability, I still say Ray Jack is better. It's just he's a whole lot more consistent damage-wise, and he also benefits your allies if you're playing co-op, or if you're just playing with the computer, you know, on normal quests. He benefits that other ally, giving them a multi-shot as well. So that's very, very useful. To me, that's more value than just, you know, being a straight-up boss killer. But other than that, I still say Bakshin is a great character. Now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at Jafar and compare him to Toby, and we're gonna see who's better between those two. Okay, so they are both wind element, and his okay. I think that's a bug. That's a display bug right there. Let's see if the event one shows what his leader ability is. It does not. Okay. Okay, well, we can't really compare their leader skills because this one doesn't display correctly, but let's go ahead and check out his King's Might. So his first one, okay. So it's a 2-hit, 210% power all target attack. So as we saw while I was using it, it was literally hitting everywhere on the map. But the thing is that it's hitting like in a random order, so it's not super consistent, but I would say it's still very useful for clearing trash mobs, especially mobs that appear in different places in the map at the same time. And the MP cost is not bad, it's only 32, so that's actually pretty cool. His second King's Might is the Athanatoi. I think I said that right. So this one hits in a large square in front of him. It costs 52 MP. 4-hit, 110% power, AoE attack times 4 attacks. Increases defense of all allies by 50% for 10 seconds. Okay, pretty cool. I do like how it hits a large area in front of him, and it gives us that 50% defense buff, just like Toby. Toby also does that. No, wait, no. Toby does attack. Sorry, correct me there. I'm wrong. Toby does attack, but it's similar to Karen. So Karen does the exact same buff as Jafar here. And then his auto skills is defense increased by 20% when HP is 50% or lower. I don't know if I like that. I mean, generally you want to stay alive unless you're really good about jumping and countering. Like, that's the specialty of what thieves do. They have that homing shot counterattack when you jump and then press action right when that attack's about to hit you. I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to keep him at 50% HP or lower. I'd rather have him survive, honestly. His second skill is increase Thief's counter damage by 20%. Okay, pretty cool. So that homing shot has a 20% damage increase. And then his last one, prevent instant death when HP is 30% or higher. Wow, okay, so pretty cool. He has some pretty good survivability with that last skill. Maybe that's why he has that first skill where his defense is increased by 20% when HP is 50% or lower. I still don't like that first skill. I'm not a big fan, but that last skill is pretty cool. So very high survivability. His weapon is the Sturmdegen. I think I said that right. Totally butchered that. And then he is a demi-human. Jafar is a commander in the Demi-Human Liberation Front. Attempting to bring an end to generations of discrimination against demi-humans, Jafar fights daily to attain equal rights for demi-humans. While Jafar himself seeks peaceful coexistence with the humans, there are those in the front with more hardline views, which leads at times to eye clashes. Is that a typo? Eye clashes within the organization. Okay. So he has no relation to Shapur, but he is of the same race. All right, so now that we had a chance to look at those skills, let's go ahead and compare him to Toby, because he's very similar to Toby. Let's see who's better. Okay. So we can't, that's right, we cannot compare leader skills because the other one was, had a bit of a bug typo. But let's check out his Tortoise Toss. So 6-hit, 150% power proximity attack. Okay, so this one it covers around him in a square. Not nearly as large as the other one. However, I will say this one is more consistent because as we saw in the animation of Jafar's KM1, it explodes randomly on the map. So it's not always gonna hit your target depending on where the enemies spawn. Whereas this one, it's a smaller range, but it's guaranteed to hit, you know, within that square space. I kind of want to say they're equal damage-wise. I'm gonna say this one's more consistent, but the other one does have its uses. So as far as King's Might 1, I'm gonna say it's a tie. If you guys, you know, disagree with me on that, you know, feel free to tell me why in the comment section below. His KM2, Sleight of Hand. Okay, so 2-hit, 240% power all target attack. So very similar to Jafar's KM1's range. Okay, only affects enemies, increase attack of all allies by 50% for 10 seconds. Hands down, his is better. 1, it only costs 39 MP. 2, it covers a far larger range. And 3, I'd rather have an attack buff over a defense buff because especially if you're already playing with somebody that uses Karen, he would be the better choice as far as a thief. So KM2, I'm gonna give the advantage over to Toby. Now let's take a look at his auto skills. Increases damage dealt to Scourge by 15%. Okay, so he deals a specific amount of damage, more damage to a specific type of enemy. It's specific, but I'm gonna have to say that his is better only because I'm still not a fan of keeping your HP below 50% just to get a 20% defense boost. I'd rather be surviving and having my HP, you know, as high as it possibly can be rather than having it low. But again, it is situational, so I'm gonna give the slight edge in the first auto skill to Toby, just because that, again, they're both situational, but Toby's just a little bit better. Second skill, defense increased by 15%. And the other one was his counter is increased by 20%. So this one has overall survivability, consistent survivability with a 15% defense buff. And the other one increases damage on counter. This one is hard, but I'm gonna have to say, I might have to give this one to Jafar. Because especially for those who love to play the Thief class, the defense buff is really kind of irrelevant if you're really good at jumping and pressing the action button right at that moment. If you've mastered that, I'd rather go with the increased damage to the counterattack over the defense buff. And then his second skill is his last skill is 50% additional wind damage. So it increases his overall wind damage. And the other one, Jafar, if his HP is 30% or higher, instant death won't kill him. I'm actually going to say... Actually, no. I'm going to say Jafar takes that one too. Just because that's really good to... As long as your HP is higher than 30%, you know, instant death won't kill you. And I think that's great. So kind of like how you saw earlier how I fell off that pit, which, you know, that was my bad on that. It saved me. Normally you would die from that, but that's actually kind of useful if you happen to, you know, get a hazard to kill you, or you know, or something like that, and your HP threshold is 30% or above. That's very useful. So I'm gonna give the edge to Jafar. So overall, who do I think is the better thief? It's a toss-up, but I'm gonna lean slightly a little more towards Jafar. I think he also has the better damage output. However, Toby does have his uses too. It's just barely. I feel like Jafar just barely edges out over him. Now again, if you disagree with me on that, you can feel free, you know, to leave your thoughts below in the comment section and let me know why you think Toby is still the better thief. But for me personally, I think Jafar slightly edges out over Toby just by a little bit, just by a hair. So that is the overview of these new upcoming characters. Again, I think it's really cool that they added a feature to be able to try these characters out. And not only that, but if you clear those events, you get 5 Regalite for completing all the objectives. So think about it. You're able to try out these characters before they come out in a quest, and you're earning Regalite, which is the currency that you use to do your gacha rolls. And also, I hope this video helps you guys out, you know, in kind of comparing, you know, these two characters to their respective classes that are currently, you know, ranked at the highest. If you ask me, am I going to be pulling on these characters when they come out? I might do one multi for them. If I don't get them, it's cool. I already have a pretty good roster. I have Karen, I have Aurelane, I have Barusa, and I also have Shapur. So I'm pretty good with warriors. I have 2. I wish I had Rayjack, but you know, can't have everything. And I already have Karen, who I think is still one of the top 3 to pull for. I think she's really good, very powerful, high damaging monk, and she gives that 50% defense buff. Don't forget, guys, there is a Facebook group that you could join for the King's Knight community. There is also a subreddit, and we also have a Discord chat. So if you guys want to join the community for King's Knight, I'm going to leave the links for all 3 of those groups in the description of my video. I do hope this video helps you guys out. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and also be sure to share this video with your friends and family who happen to be playing this game or who are thinking about playing this game. Helps me out a lot, guys, and I cannot wait to bring you guys more content on King's Knight. Again, thank you for watching my video, and Mahal.